what has happened with Armadillo?
Right. I don't remember exactly. It was all Space Access, and our last two launches were all pretty close together. I don't remember which order it was in, but we did two launches right in the early year. Neither of them went completely nominally. One we had an engine instability problem, which ended up bringing down the vehicle. The other one was a guidance problem. And so then, since then, one of Armadillo's sort of key competencies is that it can always crank out another vehicle in about 6 months. With upgrades to whatever we think that needs to be upgraded. So being about 6 months, we actually started getting into cold flow testing on our next vehicle yesterday, which I missed out on being at the conference. But so we're going to get into hot fire testing in the next week and start doing a variety of tests. It's another tube rocket, which is just a 18-inch diameter, about 30-foot long, cylindrical, fairly classic looking rocket with fins and everything, but it has a gimbaled engine. This one we did a lot more to put fairings on it and just generally make the whole design smoother, evolve it after what we learned from putting together the first one, and really get the packaging a lot nicer, try to keep the weight down everywhere we can. So it also has a much larger engine, so it'll take off a lot faster, which will be quite dramatic. It'll take off at similar to a solid rocket with that kind of thrust to weight. So we're hoping to get through the testing on that, go fly it out at Spaceport America within the next month or so. Ideally, our main target is to exceed 100,000 feet. This one has a wild excessive performance, so it's close to 200,000 feet at this point. And it will hopefully go up, and then it does just a fairly classic dual deployment recovery where it'll go up and do a small parachute, fall most of the way down, and then it has a steerable parachute for the actual main recovery, so it'll release that at a few thousand feet above the ground, and then actually be able to fly with under the parachute back to the launch site. So we're trying to be able to launch it, have it come back to the launch site, and then theoretically be able to launch it again. So we will see how that goes. Hopefully it goes better than last time. Last time we made 17,000 feet, which is not super high, but it is higher than we'd ever been able to do at Caddo Mills, where we're limited to about 6,000 feet by the FAA because we're under the flight path for the airports in the Dallas area. But so we'll keep going, and after that we've already started construction on the next one as well, so that we'll have two tail numbers, if you want to put it that way. We have the tank started on it and another entire computer set, which the computer is one of the more complicated parts of the whole thing that does the guidance system. So a lot of that stuff is started, so we're hoping that this flight, we always hope that it'll go well. We're trying to make it go well, but if it doesn't, we'll be able to have another one ready to go with improvements again in less than 6 months this time. So that's the next major thing. Beyond that, we're working on currently still looking at the design for a larger vehicle that could actually do a people-carrying size vehicle, which will be based on the four-tank quad vehicles that we've worked with in the past. It'll have some stretch tanks. It'll have a more classic payload, or a more classic like a capsule, like a Mercury-style capsule on top. Theoretically hold 2 people. Initially, we'll be just doing like science payloads, doing it all unmanned, which is a really good way to shake out the system to be able to fly a lot of times without people on board before ever putting anybody on board. So that's sort of the project for next year, is getting that together.
And launching from Spaceport America, you don't have the ceilings that you
right.
have to deal with.
Yeah,
in Texas,
because Spaceport America is right next to White Sands. Yeah, they have very, very nice airspace. White Sands has, it's technically still FAA's airspace under Albuquerque Center, but because White Sands uses it a lot for flying jets and stuff and drones and all kinds of things around. So we work both with the FAA and with White Sands to be able to schedule a time when we can punch through their sky. So it is. Up Aerospace already flies there above 100 kilometers. Virgin Galactic will be flying there hopefully in the near future.
It makes the call up a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a nice site. There's some question on the like how once you get to the actual tourist flights, how attractive it is, because it's in the desert, which is definitely sort of an austere look to it, and so it will be interesting to see as companies get their human carrying, if they stay at one site or if they do like Zero G does and fly out of a bunch of different cities. which some of the systems will be able to do. And then, of course, the other long-term issue is working with the airspace. Rockets are very weird compared to airplanes in that they can go through lots of different levels of airplanes and going different directions very rapidly. So both we need to get used to the FAA, and the FAA will have to gradually adapt as hopefully we'll be flying more. Just as an appendix to that would be that there is the FAA AST, which is the Office of Commercial Space Transportation, and they do a fantastic job of working with companies. So I think if all of federal bureaucracy was as responsive as the AST was, the U.S. would be a much better place. So I have to say, I'm required to say that they're doing a great job at what they do. So honestly, they are doing a great job at what they do.